All right, check. Y'all tuned in to another episode of Lead and Be Legendary presents the LABL Podcast. That's LABL Podcast. I'm your host, Nametag Alexander. Hey, make sure y'all subscribe to the website, www.leadandbelegendary.net. We do have new merch pieces available that you can order online from the merch store at the website. Follow us on social media. Follow me on social media. It's all things Nametag Alexander. Same thing applies for Lead and Be Legendary. And check out the new music. Like I say, the recent single that's out is Soul Speak, produced by Chef K. Dot. We also got Paris Shanae on the single as well. And I got new music coming soon, just kind of get that out the way. But we're going to get right into this episode. It's one of those, long overdue type situations. We should have been had him on. But saw he was dropping an album. I talked to the homie Dean. Shout out to Dean Garcia. He was like, yeah, you definitely need to have him on. So it was without question. But we have special guest on the show, Blaksmith. Introduce yourself to the people, man. What's going on?
Man, not too much, man. Just happy to be still going in 2019. Like you said, it's long overdue. But I like to say partially that's my fault, man. I wasn't really putting no music out. So you have a great platform for music. So I'm just happy to be on your show.
Thank you, man. But see, the thing is, even if you weren't putting out music, we still we familiar with the landscape of everything that's going on. So like I said, that's why I was like, it was long overdue. Just seeing the fact that you was even still at one point touring. You know what I'm saying? With I always butcher his name. Is it Pasalacqua?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I didn't butcher it then. Okay. Cool. So yeah, at one point you was touring. We both had placements on the Hug It Out series, so that was a dope thing as well. So you got the album out right now. Seasons Change, right? First solo, you know what I'm saying? It was on Bandcamp at first, but you ended up adding it to the additional services afterwards, your Spotify, your Apple Music. What made you decide that, let me go ahead and put it on there, or was that always a part of the plan?
It was always a part of the plan. I did some real, just thinking around, how I wanted to roll it out, and I just wanted to take advantage of, at least a week where I could recoup by selling digital downloads on Bandcamp. And so I allowed for that to happen for about 10 days, and then I put it up on all streaming platforms just because I know that's what the consumer wants, to be able to get some ears on it
when it boils down to it. Because I know I'm the same way. I always be like, man, I really don't want to have it on these platforms, you know what I mean? Because the fact that it's like people streaming, we know how the payout is with that. We understand that, it's like they're going to stream, but it's so convenient. Even for us as listeners, as fans of music, it's super convenient. Like that was a genius idea. It's just once the actual payout meets up, and syncs with that properly, then I think it's all good to go. It'll come around. It's taking a long time. Just kind of listening to the album, I was going through some of the tracks, and I could tell, it's grown man rap. You know what I mean? And you're a recent father, and congrats on that as well. So how has fatherhood impacted you just in general? Like how did that affect you?
Oh man, it just by a lot, when we talk grown man rap, it's interesting. I think of just having some responsibility, right? So shout out to my man Capelli, Lawrence. He don't have any kids, but that man got a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, man.
So he's always been one to say, we can push this rap thing forward on some grown man ish. And create a niche out of that, and so that kept me motivated. And then just life, getting married, having a kid, I just got real focused.
Man.
And so I was able to kind of start building and creating until like the cup was kind of overflow, and then I was like, okay, let me put this into a project.
Yeah. And that's interesting that you said, and shout out to Capelli also, that he mentioned, just create a niche for that, grown man rap. Because typically, and I'm just kind of jumping all over the place with the notes and the questions that I was going to ask. How do you think that narrative came about? Because for a long time, and even still to this day, it's kind of like uncool to be the rapper that's successful in the indie field, but also have, you know, like a day job, or also just still speak on like fatherhood, like, cause they paint rap as this young man sport, and it's like, is it not supposed to be cool to like talk about how we just discussed, like just grown up life situations, like on the regular for an entire project?
Yeah, I think that comes with, you know, some of the people who we watch in hip hop, and just kind of continue on. Obviously, you got like the ones that stand out, but even like I don't know. I just thought about Kweli, right? And you know, he's got not only is he a musician and making music, but now he's got this platform. And I recently watched, you know, the episode with him and Game.
Yeah, that was a solid episode. Platform. Yeah.
But I just think it's like guys like that, Game too, right? Like stubborn enough to say, I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep rapping. I'm gonna keep putting out albums and say it's my last album.
That's definitely not his last album.
And to continue to just bring those listeners in, whether it be like a large audience of listeners or just kind of like a real, just dedicated cult, you know, type following of listeners.
Word. Because I don't know. I think, like I say, it's a wide open lane. Because imagine like how many dope independent artists are out there who's like getting to it. You know what I mean? Because especially with the convenience of like online and just technology alone, as far as like how you can get your music to reach people worldwide, but at the same time they're at a desk, or you know, they might even be at the plant. You know what I'm saying? Like doing both, because they make it seem as though it's a taboo situation where it's like, oh, you work a job, or you work a regular job or 9 to 5, so it's no way you could be successful in the independent field. It's like, no, I'm getting in both lanes. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, of course, wouldn't? We would love to have that range to be like, all right, I'm just solely getting it off of this independent grind, but in the meantime, this is what's funding my career, and at the same time, this is what's paying the bills and also feeding my family. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it goes into like that whole like entrepreneur conversation. Like people think you can't be an entrepreneur with a full-time job, but you can, as long as you flipping them biweekly checks right.
Who did that? Was that Dame Dash? Was that Dame Dash's fault for the Breakfast Club interview, man? Like, remember he had everybody like, you know, like, oh, if you working for somebody, like you ain't make it seem like you wasn't shit if you work for somebody. But it's, to me, I always tell people this. It seemed like when that interview came out, it just hit the roof, and people, oh shit, I can't, like, not feeling ashamed that they have a job, but just like, oh, we all have to be entrepreneurs. And it's like, it's not for everybody. Like, everybody might not be able to be their own boss. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it came from that interview. What do you think?
I mean, it's just, one, I think Dame Dash is a very unique individual. Yeah. And his background and lifestyle is unique, and his circumstances are unique. So he don't speak for me, or he don't really speak for, you know, a lot of people. But I will say there's pathways to entrepreneurship. Right. And, you know, one of those pathways is stacking money. Yep. So, you know, Dame is an OG hustler. So, you know, however he was able to stack money, you know, he was working for somebody. So it wasn't just like, you don't just like become like your own boss. Right. So,
you just woke up like I was born a boss. Like, it don't work that way. At some point, you started out working for somebody. Interesting point too, because even at the end of the day, let's say you are your own boss, right? You're still working for somebody because you got a service to provide. When it all really boils down to it, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to ask you this too, because we know how it can be, man, on social media, just internet as a whole, with this landscape now of how often music is coming out, like the ability that we have to just this way that we're just able to take in music so rapidly, right? So I saw Punch from TDE post this, and he said, how often should an artist put out music? That's always an interesting question for me, because what are we basing that off of? Obviously, we know we're in a time where it's really no rules. You get what I'm saying? To where it's like you're not just sitting back like, well, I better not put it out on this day because such and such said. But it does make me think, like, how often should an artist put out music? We talking like whether it's projects, singles. You know what I mean? What's the threshold for that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know if putting out a body of work like as packaged as an album is the best move, for a rapper in 2020. Maybe, or we've seen like how things go viral and how a dance or one song might just go through the roof, and then an artist might place songs around that one song that went through the roof and call it a body of work. So yeah, I don't know.
It's tough to decide. I say that because I listen to your album. I listen to Finale's album, the 62 album. I also listen to Novelist's album, the Sword of Nature, all within like one realm. And I'm like, okay, with these particular projects, they're so niche based that I don't know if it would have been, I don't want to say smart, but I don't know if it would have made sense to put singles out specifically, like breaking them. Now, at one time, you was dropping like clips and everything, but it wasn't just you going crazy like, yo, here go another single, here go another, here go another. Now, me per se, I've been trying that method, but I'm so used, y'all, come on, y'all familiar, you know what I'm saying? I'm so used to putting out bodies of work that I'm like, yo, this feel weird. I've even been talking. I'm like, all right, I could do like maybe, remember how they used to have the maxi singles back in the day? Like you can go to like Sam Goody or somewhere you could buy like the joint where it had like side A, side B. That's still a thing too. 'Cause they just call them like the 2-packs now or whatever, right? I don't know. It it feel weird to me. I'm so used to putting out a body of work, so I'm like, dang, should I keep doing this? It just always made me ask that question, like how often should an artist put out music, or it's certain projects that just require to be released as a body of work, and the listeners decide, or the fans per se decide like which one is going to be the joint that rocked the hardest.
Right.
You know what I mean? Times is just crazy because of the internet, man. It's like I don't know. I can't call it. You know?
Yeah, you can't, because it could go like you would think. Let me drop some songs by themselves just to kind of stay in that realm of releasing music or competing to release music. But then you might have lost the opportunity to make a classic, or a finished product.
Exactly.
Or a body of songs. Yeah.
How often would you say that you still kind of go through like industry instrumentals, like like the joints that's already been put out or whatever? You like, yo, I'm a rock to this joint, even if you don't put it out. Like, how often would you say you still do that?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say I do that every month or so, and then if I'm really inspired, I'll record it. But I personally, for me, I've never been like a freestyle type of person.
Yeah.
But I've just been kind of like working on that muscle, and so if I hear like somebody kill a beat or an industry beat, I'm inclined to like look it up on YouTube, the instrumental, and then just try to freestyle over it.
See, I'm the one.
Sounds good.
I'm the one that I get the joint, and I'll be like, well, I wrote to it, so I guess I got to record it. I don't even think from the perspective of like, well, let me just train this muscle. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you said that, because I never even looked at it from that perspective. Like, all right, let me just write just for the exercise of it. I'm always like, well, I wrote it, I got to record it and put it out. So I'm gonna try that, because it's been a good number of industry instrumentals where I'm like, man, see, if I write to this and I record it, now the verse ain't even like fresh no more. But what if I want to use that for like an album or EP or something? And I'm like, damn. And I just paint myself in that corner like, shit, like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I've had a few, and I might unleash them to where I'm like, yo, like it's just for the sport of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I guess at the same time, do you ever run into the issue where you like, yeah, it's for the sport, but it's kind of like I don't gain anything from this if I put this out? Like you gain like the respect, like, yo, this is dope, but then after that, that's it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's certain people that do that well, or certain people that can, take an industry beat and flip it well. I guess I wouldn't consider myself one of those people.
I don't know. I think you posted some joints on Instagram that it might have had. There might have been some industry joints if I'm not mistaken. I was like, like if he get in his bag and start doing, I said, that's.
I feel like as a writer though, sometimes I can be very like I can make it more like a parody, like almost like a Weird Al Yankovic or something like that. Like I've always liked doing stuff like that. As far as like being the person that say like I ripped it harder than the original, like yeah.
See, I might be that one. I might be like, okay, they approached it this way, but I'm about to, like, let's say if I take I'll give you an example. Like the Baby has the song out called Bop, and I recently said I was like, I'm gonna write to this, and I can't say what's to happen after that. So I started, and I'm like, all right, do I want to record this? Because I'm like, all right, he did his thing on there, but also let me see how I put my spin to it, and that still be my mind. I don't know. I guess it's just like a competitive thing. Like I feel like we be competing with the artists that put it out, and they don't even know it. They're just like, yo, I'm about to jump on that, and I'm about to try to outdo them on it. You know what I mean? Because the song popular, you know, it's gonna get some attention. I don't know. It's just maybe I just be so far in my head about it. I guess I don't know. You kind of got it figured out to where, like you said, like I'm more like the parody type, and you know, if I do write to it, it's just like I'm training the brain muscle for it. So I don't know. Maybe I got to get out of my own way with that. But yeah, it's just something I was thinking about, man. I don't know. You planning any shows or?
I appreciate that.
Are you planning like any shows or I guess I would say tour around this album?
Not a tour. I got some shows lined up. Yeah, I got some shows lined up. You mentioned Dean, you know, and Humble Fly.
Yeah.
And really just kind of what am I trying to say? We want to maximize like just our market. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because you know we've been in the local music scene for quite some time. I think it's also time to be able to kind of leverage. Like a lot of people have like leveled up over time.
Right.
And that are in positions where they're owners or they're directors or they're just kind of like leaders in the market. And so, you know, I just think it's a really good time to kind of leverage those relationships to those people who are now leaders in the market. When, you know, 10 years ago we started off, you know, doing open mics.
Yeah.
I just see next year being a year where, you know, all the dots are connecting and people are working together.
Absolutely.
Not just in Detroit, but you know, just in people who have moved from Detroit to other big cities and other major cities and doing incredible things.
Word. Yeah. So like, okay. I saw that you did the line for line feature. How you feel about that? How you liking it?
Man, thank you for putting me up on that. I was just telling my wife, you know, I had an interview with you, and I said, you know, Nametag is just always up on like the newest wave of just music and how people are digesting it. And line for line, man, that is like I'm a lyrics person. Like I was 4 or 5 years old reading, you know, Kevin Campbell inserts and liners and Casey and JoJo and reading it word for word. Not to say that's how I learned how to read, but that was a big agent on you know, just like my reading and looking at text.
Yeah.
So I'm a big just advocate for lyrics and being able to see. It's like holding something up to like a black light.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, you know, what are you really saying?
You dissecting
it. What's really going on here?
It's a whole dissect. It made me think about, I don't know why it always bring me back to this, but it reminds me of when I had the It Was Written tape when that first came out, and for whatever reason I specifically remember the affirmative action track, and I always just remember reading those lyrics. So like having a feature like this with line for line, and I connect those, I'm bringing it back around because I think I mentioned this to you before, saying I think Nas, his the Queensbridge Investors Company, I think they got like a hand in that company. And I always tell people this, like, if you notice when you go on the website, the example that they have for like the email address is something,
Nas.
Yeah, like Nas something Jones or whatever at like something Stillmatic. It's like a bunch of Nas references. And then even when I did the joint for the track off Apollo Brown album, the 365 joint off the Sincerely Detroit album, and I submitted it to Line for Line, and because of the cuts in the song, the got Rhymes 365 Days Annual plus some, like they responded back and said, what did they say? They said something like, Nas would appreciate this. You guys did this track justice. And I'm like, so they specifically pointed, I said, man, either this is Nas that I'm communicating with or somebody speaking on his behalf, but he got a hand in that company. And I'm interested to see like where that company goes, because even though it's been out for a while, I would say like maybe a year or two, if I'm not mistaken, it is gonna go far. How do you feel as far as like videos? Like, granted, music videos are important, but let's say for our type of niche or crowd base, are they watching videos like that? Like, think about yourself, like maybe 08, 09, where you was tuned in, like, yo, I'm locked in. Let me check out this video, and you watching it again and again, you sharing it with everybody, as opposed to now where your time is a little bit more taken up just by life in general.
Yeah, right.
You know,
like content is like, unless people don't got time for no exposition or no background, or remember when the music videos would start and it would be like this like long like monologue or dialogue even before the music starts. Like, I don't think, like you said, people don't have that type of time no more.
Yeah, man, that's all. I think the wave, granted, videos are still going to be shot. We're still going to do them. I feel like lyric videos, man, it's a thing, but I'm saying as far as like the hip hop community, especially the independent hip hop community, it's going to come to a point where people just going to be like, man, let me just do a lyric video. People rock with the track enough. They know who I am. If they want to see me, they can see me rock in person or whatever at a live show, but we going to rock with these lyric videos. I think that's going to eventually become something, because we got so much content from streaming services like Netflix, got Disney Plus now, Hulu, all from every angle. You got a streaming services, and then you got the music streaming services, you got the podcast now. You see what I mean? It's just so much. Social media, it's just so much to take in that I just be wondering, like, damn, like, when do people really, at least in our age range, when do they have time to really even consume a video like that? I don't know, just something I was thinking about.
And I wonder if I think of like Genius and like annotation and just like having everything like on one place. Yeah. I just think is you could like catch the music video, you can catch the lyric video, you could see the breakdown of the song. You know what I mean? Yep. You can see it all in one place.
Exactly.
I think that would be I think you're right.
So, and I kind of glossed over it. Like I said, we know the album is out, but kind of, I guess this will be the part where people listening, where you sell them on like tuning into the album. So Seasons Change. How does that come about? What brings about the title? What brings about what really inspires the content for you to just go ahead and be like, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my solo bag, because this is your first solo album, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's what I mainly want to know. What led to this?
I say a lot of things. So one thing is that cut, that opener or that title was actually a Jagged Edge song.
Word.
And I think it's Jagged Edge and John Legend. And so my little brother, he sampled that record on that beat on the opener. And really it just all kind of came around at the same time. My wife was like, that would be a really good title for an album, Seasons Change. And so I just built it out from there. And I had imagined just doing the 12 songs to kind of represent the 12 months of the season, or the 12 months of the calendar.
Oh, see, I didn't even catch that.
You say what?
I didn't even catch that. The 12 joints connect. I didn't even think about that. Like, just 12 months in a year. That's dope.
Yeah, I think when you a Midwesterner and you from Michigan, I just think you think a lot about, how things just change over time.
Yeah.
And, it's like, I can't remember exactly what I was doing last year around this time, but I know it was cold.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that was the kind of like the start of the project and the inspiration behind it.
Word, man. My favorite track on there still right now is Hustle Matters. Hustle Matters. I'm a sucker for like the artists who are typically like, you know, we're on this pedestal as like MCs, you know, the rappers, but we can jump into that bag so easy to do the triplet flow that's still very popular on a mainstream level, but it's like, yeah, like we can do that too, and we could do it better. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it was that got me, but then just the subject matter behind the song as well. So that's still one of my favorite joints right now, man, off that project for sure.
Appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, yeah, we had a separate conversation about, you know, the triplet flows and us being fans of that.
Yeah.
You know, just from a tactical level, yeah, people just like hearing that, you know,
yeah, man.
Like even when I think of work that I did with Pasalakwa, and anytime I use the double time flow and do it at live shows, people would just, you know, look like they about to have a seizure.
It's infectious, man. It's infectious. I kind of find myself, it's difficult for me to wean off of it. So y'all might hear a lot more of that from me, man. I love it. I love it. So where can they?
And there's so many.
Well, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like a lot of people that's pushing that the tempos and the patterns too, and so I try to pay attention, you know, to other patterns and other flows. You know, obviously Lil Wayne is, you know, the genius.
Oh yeah.
Behind a lot of those patterns. So yeah, you know, the young generation, you know, it's a lot of Wayne influence.
Yeah, man. So let the people know in closing where they can get this project from, whether it be physical, you know, of course we know it's online digitally or whatever, but like where can they get it?
Yeah, it's streaming on all platforms. Seasons Change, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon Music, Google Play, and then you know, I hope to have some hard copies released, maybe some vinyl next year. We'll see. But you can always hit me up on social media at the Blaksmith, TheBlaksmith at the Blaksmith, no C.
Excellent, man. I'm glad we was able to have this conversation, man. That's what I like about this podcast. It gives me a moment to just kind of pick the brain. Like if you see in the description, you will see it's just like me and other independent artists. We just kind of, you know, just understanding the mind of other working artists or just creatives in general. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about the show, man. It's just normal conversation. Like I literally had only a few questions, but everything else I just winged as far as questions that I've been wanting to ask other MCs, period.
Yeah, man. I'm a fan of what you're doing. I'm a fan of the music and just like your mind and your fervor for this thing we've been doing. You know, I think you're definitely like pioneering here in our market.
Man, I appreciate it. Come on in this lane, man. Get a podcast going, man. Go ahead.
Hey, I tried.
Oh, you
tried.
said I already attempted.
It wasn't my strong suit.
That's understood. Hey, look, one day I just jumped out there, man. I just like, I love this. Like I'm like I study it like to the point I probably listen to just as many podcasts as I do music, if not more, to be honest. Like it's sick. It's pretty much sick, like how many I listen to throughout the week. And people be trying to figure out like, yo, you got a kid. I was like, well, what I do is just based on schedule routines throughout the days, I probably just got like an earbud in my ear or something at one point throughout the day. And it's like I'm managing to get through episodes like, oh, okay, was able to knock that out. And somehow it's sick, man, because somehow I'm still able to get music done and still record my own show. Like it now with the show, it's not as like on a weekly, because it's more so like information based and like I say, just general conversation. So it's not like a weekly or bi-weekly thing with me with this, but it gets done, and so does the music, and so does fatherhood and work, and I don't know. It's weird, man.
You consistent.
Yeah, I gotta be, man. I gotta be. We got gifts, man. We gotta put them out there to the world for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Once again, I appreciate you being on. I'm gonna get this together and I'm gonna let you know when we drop it.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Easy.